According to U.S. Central Command, American forces have so far neutralized 16 Iranian mine-laying teams. They've also destroyed dozens of small vessels, the kind of fast, low-profile boats the Iranian Revolutionary Guard uses to slip out at night, drop a mine in the water, and disappear before anyone can respond. President Trump ordered the Navy to shoot on sight any Iranian boat spotted laying mines. And apparently, they've been doing exactly that. Now, here's the thing that really puts this in perspective. The U.S. has spent close to $100 million on artificial intelligence software, specifically designed to help underwater drones identify and disable these new Iranian mines. That's not on the ships, not on the sailors, not on the operations themselves, just on the software to help robots figure out what they're looking at on the sea floor. That number tells you everything about how seriously Washington is taking the threat posed by these new Iranian mine designs. And leading the actual physical effort in the water are two destroyers, the USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy. These are the ships doing the hard work of what the military is calling the Safe Corridor operation. We'll get back to them in detail in a moment, because what they're actually doing out there deserves its own section. But here's a question worth sitting with. If the United States is the most powerful navy in the world, why is clearing a 21-meter strait taking months and costing hundreds of millions of dollars, with no clear end date in sight? The answer, when you dig into it, is pretty uncomfortable. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough in mainstream coverage. Iran didn't just scatter old, dumb mines in the water. The mines they've been deploying, the ones being called the Maham 3 and the Maham 7, are genuinely sophisticated pieces of technology. They use acoustic and magnetic sensors. Some of them are reported to have artificial intelligence built in, meaning they can actually distinguish between different types of ships and choose when to detonate. A small fishing boat might pass right over one, and nothing happens. A tanker or a warship, different story. That level of sophistication completely changes how you approach mine clearing. You can't just drag a cable through the water and hope for the best. You need precision, you need patience, and increasingly, you need to keep human beings as far away from the actual threat as possible. That's exactly why the coalition, the US and its allies, has pivoted to what's being called the mothership model. The idea is simple in concept, though extremely complex in execution. Instead of sending a minesweeper directly into the danger zone, you send a larger support vessel that stays at a safe distance and deploys swarms of autonomous drones into the water. The drones find the mines, the drones neutralize them, and hopefully no sailors die in the process. Two British vessels have become central to this approach. The first is the RFA Lime Bay. This is a Royal Fleet Auxiliary Support ship, originally designed for landing operations and humanitarian aid. It spent time in the Caribbean delivering relief supplies. The British military has been clear. This vessel is being prepared so that when conditions allow, meaning when the risk from Iranian drones and missiles is low enough, it can move in and start doing serious work. The second British asset is the HMS Dragon. This one is different. The Dragon is a Type 45 destroyer, a warship built specifically for air defense, one of the most capable anti-air platforms in the world. It was dispatched on May 10th, just days ago, and it's not there to hunt mines. It's there to protect the ships that are hunting mines. Because here's the thing about demining operations. They're slow. Iran has already responded to the Dragon's deployment with a direct threat, warning of a decisive and immediate response if it enters the strait. So, the stakes are pretty clear. Now, let's talk about those two American destroyers, because what they're actually doing out there is worth understanding properly. The USS Frank E. Peterson and the USS Michael Murphy are Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers. These are not minesweepers. Let me repeat that. They are not minesweepers. They are multi-mission warships designed for combat, anti-air, anti-submarine, surface warfare. They carry missiles. They carry torpedoes. They are fast, powerful, and extremely expensive. So why are they leading a mine-clearing operation? The honest answer is partly because they're what's available, and partly because the mission isn't purely about sweeping mines. Central Command confirmed that these two ships were responsible for the first transits of the strait in April, where they were establishing what the military calls mine clearance conditions. Think about what that actually means for the crew. You're on a destroyer. You know the water you're sailing through has MEs in it. Mines with artificial intelligence. Mines that might be able to identify your ship specifically. You're also watching for fast attack boats, and you're being tracked by Iranian coastal defense batteries on shore. Every transit is a calculated gamble. The destroyers are also big. An Arleigh Burke destroyer is over 500 feet long and displaces close to 9,000 tons. That magnetic and acoustic signature? It's enormous. Exactly the kind of profile those Iranian smart mines are designed to detect. So, why use them? Because they can defend themselves. Because they can fight back if they're attacked. A dedicated minesweeper can't. A minesweeper is basically a floating target with very limited ability to protect itself. That tension between using the right tool for the job and keeping your people alive is at the heart of everything happening in Hormuz right now. Okay, now we need to talk about the Avenger-class minesweepers, because this story is genuinely one of the most frustrating things I've come across in researching this topic. The Avenger class is a purpose-built minesweeper. 14 of them were constructed between 1987 and 1994. They're around 224 feet long, about 1,300 tons displacement. They're slow. These are not warships built for speed. But they are built for one thing, and they do that one thing extremely well. They hunt mines. Here's what makes them special in ways that modern ships struggle to replicate. Their hulls are built from wood, oak, fir, and cypress sheathed in fiberglass. Wood and fiberglass in 2026. Why? Because metal hulls create magnetic signatures, and magnetic signatures trigger mines. An Avenger can sail through a minefield and the mines don't see it the way they'd see a steel warship. That's not a design quirk. That's the entire point of the ship. For decades, the US Navy kept a squadron of Avengers forward deployed in Bahrain in the Persian Gulf, specifically because the Gulf has always been a potential mine warfare environment. And then, in September 2025, the Navy decommissioned the 4 Avengers that were based in Bahrain. 4 ships gone. Their functions were supposedly being transferred to newer littoral combat ships equipped with modular mine-clearing packages. In January 2026, and I want you to really sit with this timeline. In January 2026, those 4 decommissioned Avengers were physically loaded onto a heavy-lift cargo ship in Bahrain and shipped to Philadelphia for disposal. As in, they were heading to the scrapyard. 6 weeks later, in late February 2026, the United States and Israel launched their military operation against Iran. And Iran almost immediately started mining the Strait of Hormuz. By mid-April, tracking data showed a pair of Avengers moving west out of the Pacific, heading toward the Middle East. A desperate scramble to get the right ships to the right place after having just shipped the previous ones off for scrapping. The Navy's official position is that they will not recommission the decommissioned Avengers. The ships that were sent to Philadelphia are staying there, but the ones in Japan, those appear to be on their way or already in the region. It's worth asking out loud, who made the decision to pull all the dedicated minesweepers out of the Persian Gulf, a body of water that has been a mine warfare flashpoint for decades, right before a war with Iran? Because that decision is looking very, very bad right now.